Hello everyone. The recent news is CBI booked the management of DHFL in the biggest banking fraud ever, which involved an amount of 34,615 crores. Yes, you heard it right. It is 34,615 crores. This is the biggest scam till date in this country. So it is almost three times the scam of Punjab National Bank, which involved Nirav Modi. In recent times, the PNB scam has shaken the entire nation. Even before we can forget it, there comes another fraud which is even bigger than it. Let us try to understand now what this DHFL scam is all about. Let us try to understand what is this DHFL first of all. DHFL is actually a non-banking finance company which is in the business of providing housing loans to the lower and middle income groups in the rural and semi-urban parts of India. It is the second largest housing finance company established in India. So, if the company is incorporated as NBFC, these companies generally have a privilege of getting the loans from the commercial banks at lower interest rates. So, DHFL also gets the borrowings from these commercial banks at a lower interest rate and generally uses these funds for running their business, which is usually giving housing loans. But DHFL got the borrowings from these commercial banks. Instead of using these borrowed funds for running the business, the directors of the company, namely Kapil and Dheeraj Wadhawan, misused the borrowings. So how this misuse has happened? So let us try to understand this from the beginning. So according to the reports, during the span of 2010 to 2018, the Union Bank of India, along with 16 other banks, have extended the credit facilities to the tune of 42,871 crores. But DHFL has made a default in the repayment of the loans. So what has actually happened to this money which has been borrowed? Where did these borrowed funds go? The directors of the company, namely Wadhavans, created numerous shell entities largely with a nominal capital of just 1 lakh rupee, with a lot of them having the same or similar address and even having the same set of initial directors, and even on many occasions they have even appointed same group of auditors to mask the financial details. What do you mean by the shell company? Shell companies are basically pass-through entities, which means so these are just incorporated for the namesake. They don't involve any kind of transaction. According to the reports, there were a total of 66 such shell companies were incorporated in this scam. So a forensic audit conducted by the KPMG in the year 2020-21 of DHFL loan accounts observed that the large amount of such money which DHFL has borrowed from these banks were actually disbursed as loans and advances to these shell companies. So generally in the Indian banking industry, if the loans are getting given to the companies, they should be secured via taking the assets as collateral. And also in some cases, promoters were supposed to give a personal guarantee for these loans. But DHFL has not followed any of these processes. As a result, what ultimately happened is public money has been lent out to the people without collateral. So what has happened to this money with the shell companies? So the money, whatever is available in the hands of the shell companies, has finally flown back into other entities which are owned by the promoters of this DHFL. In short, here what has happened is DHFL has given that unsecured loan to its promoters from their borrowed funds. So if you observe the entire scenario, the shell companies are just created to act as intermediaries to transfer the funds which DHFL has borrowed from banks to its promoters. This is what technically we call it round tripping. So lastly, the money acquired by this round tripping was used by the promoters of DHFL in order to purchase assets in the other countries. It is alleged that the proceeds of these loans were used to acquire personal assets in the countries like Mauritius and Dubai by the owners of this DHFL. So these are the findings from the audit of this DHFL loan accounts against which the CBI has booked the management of the DHFL. But these allegations were already made by a media entity which is Cobra Post long ago in the year 2019 out of their independent investigations. So this is what simply has led to the happening of this DHFL scam. Now who are at loss because of this DHFL scam? So the ultimate losers are going to be the depositors of this DHFL and the public entities like the State Bank of India, Union Bank of India, and this Bank of Baroda, and the investors of this DHFL. Hope you like this video. Please do share it.